I've started the fence panels, so I'll just show you what they're gonna look like. Done a Mitred return detail there just to give it another dimension. These are all gonna get plugged with cedar plugs. Stainless steel screws, obviously important, so that it doesn't rust through and stain the wood or rot out. I didn't show this one being made because it was the prototype. I just wanted to check it all worked. It worked out a dream. This is my next frame. I've got all the components cut. Look, we're going to do this one like a production line, so it'll be making all the frames, stapling our black landscape in fabric onto it for privacy, and just it looks nicer, doesn't it, with the black shadows. But if you are using that, make sure you buy one that's I mean, it doesn't rot underground, but make sure you get them with UV protection, because this is going to be exposed to sunlight and you don't want it to perish, so that's quite important. What I like to do next is, because there's such a variation of colour, I like to lay my cedar boards out and just make sure I've like randomized it and make sure there's not too many dark ones next to each other and blah blah blah. So that's that done. I might just swap a couple of these. It's a bit samey there and a bit too many stripes there, so tweak them around and then mark my mitres then and start cutting. Right, so I've worked out my mitre lengths, done a test one just before I go full steam ahead and cut all of them, and as you can see, she fits snug as a bug. So in order to increase productivity, what you find, the less you have to get your tape measure out, the better. So I know now exactly what the overall length, so from longest point to longest point is. So I cut it. You can see that's exactly where the saw cuts through, yeah. So what I do then is hold that piece of wood, and then if you go around most chop saws, oh hold on, yeah, pretty much all chop saws have got holes where you can screw a sacrificial fence to. So I've just screwed that there so this can stays where it is, and then if I demonstrate the next piece how quick it is, I can whip all these down really quickly. So get your piece on, go just past there, because that's another thing you should always remember when you're cutting a fresh piece of wood. Never assume that they've been machined square on the end. So I always overshoot it at that end, cut a nice square edge in there, flip it over, butt it up flush with this one, and then cut the other end, and then you've got exactly the same size pieces of wood without having to get your tape measure out. So I'll just whipple them down now. It should only take me 5 minutes, and then show you the next step. So now all my pieces are cut to the same length, to the longest point of the mitre. I offered the first piece up, did a mitre so that it just skims the longest edge there. So you're not actually taking anything off that, because otherwise you'll shorten your mitre and it'll be too short. So I literally set it so it just, you could see it skimming that point there. Once I got that, I screwed this piece through the back of the fence to hold it there, and then I butted this piece of 3x2 up to the end of this and screwed that in 2 places in the back, so it's solid now, it can't move. And now all I have to do is boosh, I'll show you. So what I do is I have a look at the wood. Always check which is your best face, and you want your best face against the fence, okay, because you're cutting. So this is the back of the material that you won't see, and that is the bit that you will see. So I reckon, to be honest, they're both good on this, so it doesn't really matter. But let's just say that's my best face, so I'm going to put it against the fence. Okay, I'm trying to do this one-handed, sorry. Right, and as you can see, I butted up nice and tight to there, and if I can just swap hands and do this no-handed, actually, it's a bit dodgy, tell you what. Got to make sure that's tight against the fence, and there you can see I've literally got probably 0.5 mil of flat on the end of that mitre, and then when that gets arrised, when it's all assembled, it'll look beautiful, and you haven't taken off, you're not making that length of wood shorter, because that's what you want to avoid. Otherwise, when I came to put them all and wrap them around that frame, they wouldn't fit. And unfortunately, all the panels, because of the brickwork, obviously, is not to the mill on every single one because of the state of the bricks. There's slightly different sizes, these panels, and there's actually one that's the middle one. To get my brick bond has to be I think it was another half a brick longer, so it's quite a difference in that one. So I've labelled them all. I just got to go through now working that as a process at a time, so because that's the most efficient way to work, because you don't want to be jumping from cross cutting to mitre cutting to assembling. You want to do all your cross cuts, all your mitres, and then all your assembling at the end. So that's what I'm going to do. Right, so cut all the long ones, mitered both ends. The ones that are assembled are just my test pieces for each panel, just to check it was right before I cut them all. And now I'm just doing my little returns now. So that's obviously the length. So just cut, push, cut. I've got 176 of these to do, which is fun. So I won't show you that because you'll be bored out of your brain like I am. Right, so now we've cut all our blocks. Time to do the mitres. So again, set up my stop, and then I'll try and do this whilst, no, actually no, because I won't have any fingers left, but yeah, you get the gist. That chops it, so it literally doesn't take anything off the length, it just literally cuts to the furthest point of the mitre over there. And then just gotta do all them. Happy days. Due to the fact that I just had to crack on, because we're up against it with time, I don't know if I finished fully explaining how I put these together, but I'll briefly explain. 3x2 3x2 frame, treated frames. Okay. Black landscaping fabric, UV protected. That's important. Then 2x1 cedar battens, randomized, so you get that nice color twang thing. Fixed with stainless steel screws and then plugged. Some people like to try and match it in, but even with the same color wood, you're never going to hide it. So I sort of just do it whatever. Do you know what I mean? Looks nice, I think. If you're really clever, you could just do a fake pattern and draw something on there, like. And then this was a piece of 6x1 cedar. So I've run it through the table saw, stopped it just before, because I didn't have much thickness here, so I didn't want to go too much. So I stopped it just before it reached the center point, turned it round, did that angle cut on the table saw, and then the little flat, I just pinged a line through the middle, and then belt sanded up to that line that side, and then up to that line that side, and then I whizzed it over, lowered the saw blade, and did 2 passes on the saw to make a drip groove, so that any water that goes under there hits that and drops, rather than soaking. Capillary action would draw that and soak it and probably end up rotting this top piece out. So yeah, I'm quite happy. These aren't fixed yet. They're like a section. Then I had to trim that last piece so I could get my, won't go back on now. Get my perfect 12 mil spacings all the way down. Ideally, it would have wrapped right round, but the neighbour wants to put a fence in front of our lovely wall and fence panel, so my customer's just going to pin some feather edge, that cheap feather edge stuff, from the top at the bottom horizontally, and that'll finish that off in the near side. And then I think even then he's going to put a fence of that stuff in front of the wall. So hey ho.